If you think that you need a lot of time and a lot of art supplies to make an expressive drawing, you're not the only one. But let me show you that you just need some lines, some water, and a few deliberate choices to create a fun and expressive page. I will also give you some instruction for a fun assignment for your sketchbook. I'm using a Sailor de Mannen fountain pen with a 55-degree nib angle, and in it I have a Sailor cartridge with water-soluble black ink, and I'll use a waterbrush pen later. This is a pen with a synthetic brush and you fill the handle with water. I'm using a reference photo that I took on a morning in January when I was drinking coffee and looking out at the backyard covered with a thick layer of snow, which is quite rare here in the Netherlands. I like this pen because of the bent nib. It can give expressive variable lines. If you tilt the nib up, you get a finer line, and when you put the nib flat on the page, your line gets thick and juicy. When you use waterproof ink in the pen, it's great to combine with watercolor too, or other wet media. At the end of this video, I will share the link to a video in which I show that, using watercolor combined with the pen line, and where you also get a fun challenge for your own sketchbook. So you can watch that video next. For drawing the coffee pot, I can make use of the negative spaces, the shape inside the handle, the space between pot and its spout. There's overlap too. The glass is a bit in front of the pot, so I'm trying to get that all in. I'm adding a bit of extra lines for the coffee and the shapes inside the glass, just a few suggestive marks. That's just more than enough. I like that clean line that I used for the coffee pot, and I don't want my marks on the glass to look fiddly compared to it, so I leave it alone quickly. Now, this looks pretty okay, but the subject is still floating on the page. I'll draw the shadows below the pot and glass and the window frame too. Now it all starts to feel more grounded and there's more of an indication of the setting. I'll add ink for the black window frame. I do it quite scribbly because I guess I want to make a dark ink wash out of it by adding water. First, I'll start with diluting for some lighter bits. Looking at the shading on the pot, I can bring in depth by lightly touching the edges of the ink lines and letting the ink spread and bleed into the water brush marks, just simply like that. You can let the ink flow freely. There's not much adjusting needed. Just a little bit of directing maybe with a quick brush stroke to soften an edge or dilute the wash further. For the shadow underneath, I'm going to need some more ink than what I can pick up from the lines that are there, so I use my brush to pick up some more ink from the pen nib directly and paint with that. There's a bit of accidental spattering, which I kind of like, and I could have done more of it actually. Now that I've done the lighter tones and the mid-tones, I'm feeling encouraged to see what I can do with that very dark window frame. It makes for a very nice dark and juicy wash if I add water. If you ever think, I don't have time to draw, I can assure you that you do. We do indeed have overflowing calendars and our attention is pulled toward things that feel urgent, but 10 or 15 minutes of drawing can be just as valuable as any task on your list. Try and pick one regular habit you never skip and attach 15 minutes of drawing to it. Maybe it's coffee in the morning, like I did here. Sketch your mug or whatever is on the table. Or after dinner, draw your empty plate before clearing it away. Maybe you watch my weekly videos. Thank you for that. But you can also do one small drawing right after a video ends. A weekly drawing. That wash is still wet now and I'm dipping my brush in it so I can paint with the ink to indicate the background now. Of course, I could have drawn my background with my pen, maybe with a thinner line to indicate that it's further away or behind a window, but I want the foreground to stand out with contrasting crisp lines, and by painting with the gray wash I can suggest the background without it becoming the focus of the page, kind of like in a photo that something is out of focus in the background. Keep a sketchbook and a pen right there where your habit takes place, so you don't need to spend any time setting up. Same moment, same place, every day or every week or every few days, regularly. Drawing becomes part of real life this way instead of another thing on the list. And if you need some extra encouragement or inspiration, I give plenty of that on Patreon. You can take a 7-day free trial to see if you'd like to sign up for a membership. I'd love to see you there. Now that I have my out of focus background in there, I'm just touching up a few of the lines that faded a bit because they were diluted at the edges. The flat wash had become a bit messy because I dipped my brush several times in it to use the ink for the background marks. Here's an assignment for your own sketchbook. Find a pen that has water-soluble ink. Any pen will do. Any ink color is fine. Now draw whatever is in front of you. Maybe it's your coffee cup or your coffee maker, some art supplies, or just clutter on the table. Draw it. After making your line drawing, fill in the shades by diluting some of the ink and gently creating light washes here and there. Keep looking at your subject and where the shadows are. Keep it light and keep it gentle. You cannot take out darks, but you can always add more ink if needed. I feel like the coffee in the glass needs to be a bit darker too, so I add that. Now just a tiny bit of extra shading to convey the curves of the pot, and that's enough. As promised, you can watch this video next. Have fun and I'll see you next week. Bye!